comedy that she's best known. As Barbara Howard discovered in her two-part ETW interview, Bette Midler is fast with a quip.
Bette Midler has always flaunted her biggest assets, and now she's come up with two more that add to her dimensions as a performer. One is a new comedy album in which she flings mud at some pretty sacred cows.
Prince, get off my legs. Somebody get a bucket of water and throw it on this guy.
Then there's a new movie called Down and Out in Beverly Hills, in which Midler plays a rich housewife whose more mentionable needs include a leg wax and a mantra.
My yogi, my guru, my guide, Ron Beer, always says that we are all part of the same oneness, the same universal electric tide. We flow into and out of everything, so.
In Down and Out in Beverly Hills, you could have walked through it being Bette Midler. You didn't do that.
It never occurred to me to.
Why?
What a good idea. Maybe I'll do that next time. You know why? Because I'm not that trained. I don't have that much training. I mean, lots of people just play themselves. I mean, Clark Gable was always Clark Gable. Mae West was always Mae West. That's not really acting to me. And I would like to be considered an actor.
What did you, as Bette Midler, learn about yourself by going into that character?
Oh, well, I think I learned a little bit about how to shop, and I learned not to have your eyebrows waxed. Don't have your eyebrows waxed. It hurts terribly. Bikini wax is brutal. You know, I did all those things that I'd always thought I would never do, and most of them hurt painfully.
We have jokes about everybody you ever wanted to hear a joke about, all drawn from life.
There are two descriptions of you that don't fit my image of you or your public image. One is that you're shy.
I'm lazy. Well, I'm shy and lazy. No, I'm lazy and shy. I have to put the lazy first. I've been at this for a long time, for 15 years practically, and I have met a lot of people. And when you know a lot of people, sometimes you think, oh, I just can't meet any more people. I just don't have the energy to meet any more people. If I meet one more person.
It's not this sense of why bother that you have in your album, though.
But it's pretty close. I have 4,000 people on my Christmas list. Many of them are good friends of mine. I haven't seen them in 20 years. Why bother?
You shave your legs today, 6 months later you gotta shave them again. Why bother? Lady Di finally came to the United States. She brought 45 trunks, 10 hairdressers, 3 makeup artists. She went to J.C. Penney's. I said, Lady Di, why'd you bother?
The other public image of you that I'm curious about is that cheap would not be the right word, but thrifty and frugal, that you are very careful with your money.
Well, you have to be. You must be. Oh, you think I'm cheap? You should meet Lionel Richie. He's really cheap. He's the cheapest. His wife tells him he's cheap. He came over to my house one time. I met him many years ago. I met him about 5 years ago. He came to my house. And I thought he was going to sit down at the piano and, play me some songs. And he came and he told me how I had to beware because they were out to get my money, all my hard-earned money. And I had to be very careful about who I hired to be my accountants and this and that. And I was flabbergasted. My mouth was hanging open. And Lionel, this stuff sort of spewed forth from him. I was so surprised. And yet every time I see him, he gives me the same. I'm not the only one. You know, a lot of people in the business, especially the greats, like Bo Diddley, like Chuck Berry, like Little Richard. I mean, they have been up and they have been down. And you see the kind of thing that happened to the old timers because they didn't have good advice. And all you can say is, that's not going to happen to me. That is not going to happen to me. I'm not going to be, I'm not going to be sleeping on somebody's couch because I can't get a gig when I'm 65. And I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen so much. Yes, I'm cheap. So sue me. So what?
It looks like success just happened to you because you burst into the public consciousness, but it hasn't been an overnight thing. You've really had to work hard.
I worked very, very hard. And I have to tell you, I'm glad I worked hard, and I'm very grateful for the amount of success that I've achieved. I don't think I'm the most extraordinarily talented person in the world. I think I have a certain amount of talent. I think I have a certain amount of intelligence. What I did have or do have that maybe some other people didn't have was a great will, a very strong will and a real desire to be more than anyone thought I could be. I think when you're a kid and people tell you, keep hammering at you that you are going to be nothing, that you're nothing, two things can happen to you. Either you are going to be nothing, or you are going to struggle against it and say, no, that's not true, and I'll prove it to you. And it's that wanting to show people that I think is really the best part of anyone who wants to succeed. And it should be, you shouldn't be ashamed of it. You should plow on through.
And as Midler wheeled along to her very different drummer, she left some bold and flamboyant tracks. But do not confuse the wild woman on the stage with the lady of the house. At home, she's the recent bride of Wall Street commodities trader Martin von Hasselberg. And while marriage hasn't exactly turned her into Betty Crocker, she has become happily domesticated.
I married a very spiritual man who he gives me great comfort. And the fact that I'm married has taken a lot of the angst out of my life because, I thought a lot about boys. For a long time, ever since I was a kid, and it's exhausting after a while, the will I, won't I, will he, won't he, that kind of thing, and those games are very tiring. And it's nice to settle into the comfort of someone that you love and a certain kind of domesticity. It really is quite blissful.
Are you the divine Miss M around the house?
No, I'm the divine Mrs. von Hasselberg. We're both divine. He's a wonderful man, and he loves being home, and he loves being home with me. And it's given me so much solace, I can't really tell you. It's nice to have a partner.
What about children? What about the real-life saga of a perhaps baby divine?
I would love to have a child, and we are going to start pretty soon doing what you're supposed to do. No, that doesn't sound right. We're going to go to a doctor, and he's going to tell us what to do. Because there are formulas and there are, patterns and things that you're supposed to follow, which I don't know anything about. So we're going to start pretty soon.
Your private life has been left pretty private. You really haven't
Yes, I've been pretty good. I've been I've been good about it.
By design? I know
Yes.
you're not a boring person.
Yes, by design.
How have you managed that when others haven't?
I just don't tell everything. And I lie. A lot. Because I really don't think it's anybody's business, really. The truth is. I mean, so much of my soul is on the stage, and so much of my heart and my intellect is in my shows and in the characters that I choose to play. I don't think that anyone should know any more than that. I think it's dangerous. I think it helps to have a little bit of mystery about you. I mean, otherwise, why would they bother? Why would they be curious about you if they knew it all?
Where's the band? Pardon me? A synthesizer? You mean a machine plays all those parts? Really? Well, who am I going to sleep with? I mean, sing with?
I know you could walk away from your flashy image, but could you really go away from the glitz of fame? I mean, could you hang it all up and become Mrs. Housewife?
I think if I had something else to occupy my days, I could do it. I've thought about doing it. I've thought about going back to school because I think I missed something. And I've thought about being in the art world in another way. Would I miss not getting my table at Spago? I guess I would, but I don't think I would miss it for long.
What kind of old woman do you think you'll be?
I will probably be a lot like that Soph character that I play. Sort of fat, and with beady little eyes, and many chins. And I think these are my biggest years, my biggest and my best years coming on. When I was a kid, I always saw myself at that age. I always saw myself as sort of an older woman. I imagined when I wanted to go into the theater, that I was going to be like Ethel Barrymore. To me, Ethel Barrymore was never young. She was always sort of older. And that's always been my mental picture of myself, so I'm not afraid of it. I'm not afraid to turn into that. I'm looking forward to it in a strange way.
When you get a little older, your mind starts playing terrible tricks on you. I woke up in the middle of a snowstorm. I went right out and ordered a case of Head and Shoulders. You know, I'll never forget the time. I seem to have forgotten the time.
I get the definite impression that you are very happy leaving the divine Miss M behind, happily married. Life's good for you.
I'm very happy. I've never been so happy in my life. I'm not going to leave the divine, though. You're kicking her out like an orphan. No, she'll always be there. She'll always be a part of me. But I'm just, you know, I'm going to give her a rest and see what else there is on the horizon.